palm reading of a particular person whose age is 50 years old. We are reading his hand. I would be marking important lines on his palm. The first prominent line that I find on his palm is the sun line. Sun line is basically the line of name and fame. It is also called the luck line. But I normally describe this line in a little bit different way, although I don't disagree with the other palmists what they have to say about this particular line. I basically name it as how much energies we are giving to our work, okay, and how much clarity are we having in our work. So people who have a simple, deep, and simple means a simple, deep, and clear line, that is considered to be the best possible line a person can have. So we find that the line is reasonably strong. A reasonably strong line is considered to be a good line. Some people, they may just have a very thin and barely visible line. A very barely thin and barely visible line is of basically no use. Until unless you have a strong line, it would be of no use. And some people have got broken kind of lines. So broken kind of lines are also kind of very negative, because it creates doubts and self-doubt within that particular person, and they wouldn't be able to give energies to their work, as they would not be having clarity as to what they want to do in their life. Now, having a reasonably strong line starts sometime at this particular point. This is the point when it is starting, and at this point where the intersection of the head, this is the head, and the sun line, the intersection is age 35, and this point is the heart, and the sun line is age 53. So this is what basically is the age on the sun line. Now the thing is that the books of palmistry, they have described a sun line to be a long sun line, and they would basically mention that it is something like 27 out here, 32 out here, 35, 44, 53, and beyond. But in normal person's case, people, they don't have a long sun line. See, a long sun line is only good when it is deep and clear. Only then the results of that particular line basically comes into their life. And we shouldn't purely call it as the luck line. See, the reason why people are not successful is because they are lacking in clarity. And a person who has got a deep and clear line, they know what path they want to travel on. A sun line can be described in a little bit different way. It is something like, this is the sun and this is the earth, and if there's smoke in the middle, the sun rays wouldn't be able to penetrate this particular smoke and reach the earth. So therefore the plants on the earth, they are not going to grow fast. Okay, so if there is no smoke, direct sunlight, good energies the plants are receiving, so the plants are going to grow at a faster speed. So this is what basically is meant by a deep and clear sunlight. So it's a very good quality sunlight that the person has. The second line is this particular line. Now this is the line of Mercury, and this is also the Mercury line, and this is also the Mercury line. See, Mercury is the planet for intelligence. This is the planet for skill, calculations, communication. This is the planet for knowledge. And people who have a simple, deep and clear line. See, people don't have generally simple, deep and clear. It may be muddled up. Muddled up basically means crisscrossing lines. Crisscrossing lines or over excessive lines basically destroy the quality of the lines. And it would mean miscommunication and miscalculation. But people who have simple lines means basically it is something like you are trying to sharpen your skills, because this is the line for skills. This is the line for calculation and communication. This is the line for mathematics, engineering, law, physics, chemistry, everything. And this is the line for networking skills, human to human networking, computer networking. This is also the line for law. So basically, if the line of Mercury is good, the chances of that particular person being able to sharpen their skills increases. One more thing I need to add out here is that it is not necessary that you need to have these lines. Even total absence, when I say total absence, absolutely no line also in many people's hand does give excellent results. It's the only when it is not giving result is when there are too many crisscrossing lines or too many horizontal kind of lines. When they are there, the chances of failure basically increases, and because of miscommunication and miscalculation. I'm just going to sharpen the image a little bit or darken the image a little bit so that I can see the lines in a little bit more clearer way. So we should consider it to be something like this particular Mercury line to be the line. It's something like a knife. So energies are penetrating, energy, light, or whatever you can say, they are penetrating and they're entering the palm, they enter your life, and they're kind of passing by these particular lines. So this is the knife. So those lines or energies or light or whatever you may say, they are kind of sharpening that particular person's skill. So this is a good line which is likely to give this particular person a success. Now the person may ask, when is the success? See, the person who has got a good set of skills, they are likely to be successful in the past, present, and the future. Now we move on to the other important line which normally people do not have. Let's take the first is the headline. Headline everybody has. The lifeline everybody has. But this kind of a formation of line, not many people they may have on their hand. And a deep, some people they may have it, but they may have a very weak kind of a Jupiter line. A weak kind of a Jupiter line would be of no use. A very thin, very barely visible line is of no use. It's only when the line is reasonably strong, it gets the strength. It basically signifies, it is starting on this line is starting on the mount of Jupiter. Jupiter is a big planet. Big planet means growth, expansion, honor, respect, position, and power. So people who have a strong line means, and it is joining your line of head. This is the line of head. It is joining the headline. It basically signifies your mind is getting guided by Jupiter. Mind getting guided by Jupiter basically means that the person is aspiring to get the qualities of Jupiter in their life. And Jupiter is the planet for position, the planet for power, the planet for spirituality and religion. So this particular, and see, religion does have lots of good teachings. So if we incorporate those teachings in our life, it basically simplifies our life. It basically systemizes our life. So religion can be used in a good way or the bad way, but we are just talking about the good way now out here. So and it's a very, very reasonably strong Jupiter line, which normally most people don't have. So that's the reason why it is likely to give result in this particular person's case. Now this line is joining, the Jupiter line is joining the headline somewhere at the earlier portion of your life. This portion is around the age of 18 and before. So what basically it means is, that this particular line, even if it is joining at the age of 18, but the impact of this particular line is going to be there throughout your life. It's not going to be limited to 1 or 2 or 3 years. It's going to be throughout your life. You would be constantly reaching to be at a higher position of the life all throughout. This is also the area for administration, religion, politics, and honor. So I've already basically spoken about that. Now we move on to the money line. This is the line of money. Any line pointing towards the Saturn mount is called the line of money, the line of possessions. But I need to add out here that it is not only the money line that talks about the money. Every line can talk about the money in some way or the other. So if a person does have a good sun line, good Mercury line, good Jupiter line, these are adding up to the strength of the line of money. So that's the reason why we have to consider all lines in terms of money, not necessarily only one line in terms of money. So but this line is starting on the mount of moon, money line. This is the area of mount of moon, and another line is joining from the mount of moon and joining the main money line, and the point at which it joins is approximately around the age of 33, 34. This is the point of 33, 34. The intersection of the money and the headline is age 35. The intersection of the heart line and the money line is age 53, and this portion is beyond the age of 53. Now the thing is that consider something like that. Money line is nothing but a river. This is another tributary kind of joining the main money line. So if another tributary joins, what happens is more flow comes into this particular area, this portion after the age of 33 or so. Now this particular line, when we say this particular line, this branch like thing can also be seen in terms of help from females or help from after marriage, or sometimes it could also mean help from foreigners, unknown people. It could also mean some upliftment, some financial upliftment at that given moment of time. So it has got different meanings, but all of these meanings are likely to be good. Now I am not very certain that should I say that this is a kind of a branch. I'm just showing you. It appears that this line is kind of broken out here and a new one is joining. But in all, I would say whatever it might be, still I would say everything is likely, it would have been likely to be good even in that particular portion. There could have been few troubles. Yes, a problem line is kind of coming and touching the line of money at this given moment of time around the age of 33, 34. But still I would say things would have flowed much better. There's another reason why it could have been better is because, see, we look at the direction at where the money line is pointing. The initial direction is purely pointing towards the Saturn mount. This is the Saturn mount where it is kind of pointing, the money line. Then another line kind of joins in. This particular line is not pointing towards the Saturn mount. It is kind of pointing towards the Jupiter mount. Jupiter is not for money, but Saturn is for money. So somewhere at this particular point, another few changes come to one's life, and the new money line kind of points towards the Saturn mount. So Saturn is for accumulation of money, respect of money, value money. So those are the times when the person would get more money in their life. Now we would just move to one or two more small things, and then this is the line of head. This is the line of head. And few lines from the area of Mars are kind of coming and joining the headline. These are kind of a little bit negative kind of lines. It must have happened in the earlier portion of one's life, and any line originating on the mount of Mars and joining the headline, it basically, or crossing the headline, would mean anger and aggression affecting that particular's mind, or we can say entering one's mind. And once our anger enters the mind, the chances of taking the right decision decreases at that given moment of time. This is before the age of 35. So a good line is also there and few bad lines are also there. So bad lines basically, and when we are angry, then there are going to be fights, and when there are fights, then few negative things can also happen in one's life. And these lines could also mean that the stomach is also affected, because if mind gets affected, if there's anger in the mind, it would also affect your stomach as well. So I'm not very certain about this particular aspect, but I'm just guessing that it could have been there in the past. The clarity of the sun line increases as you grow older. This is after the age of 35 to the last portion of the life. And the line of head is also very straight, kind of very straight. So it means more practicality and much more contentment in the mind. No such mental breakdown kind of a condition is likely to arise. The heart line is also quite simple and having a curvature. A heart line having a curvature towards the end signifies that the person is very passionate, and there's likely to be a display of emotions, and the person can't keep their emotions in check. So these people are likely to be expressive with their emotion. They need not be emotional people, they need not be sensitive people, but they are kind of very expressive with their emotions. And towards the end, it appears that the heartline is not very long. A long heartline looks something like this, but a shorter heartline would have been totally ending out here, but it's going a little bit longer and reaching the tip, the starting point of the Jupiter mount. So that's all okay. It's kind of more getting governed by the planet of Saturn. Heartline angling towards the Saturn mount basically represents that the person values money, respects money, and those people would be able to accumulate more money in their life. They are good at money management. The calculation of money comes from the Mercury lines. The inclination for money comes from the heart line, where your where your heart inclination is. Now the heart line is also having one or two branches over this, and their longer branches are much more negative compared to shorter branches. So these are reasonably long kind of branches. These branches on the heart line basically signifies distractions, falling for temptations, not being able to commit totally towards a singular goal. These are basically like the person gives their heart to different places. So although I might have said that there are three distractions, but if we look at in general the quality of the heart line, in general is good. So that is a reason why I would say, in spite of these branches also, I would say still the person is likely to be successful. In spite of this particular aspect as well, I would still say the same thing. Towards the end of the lifeline, there's a branch-like thing kind of pointing towards the mount of moon. And this branch is pointing at the mount of moon somewhere close to the age of, let's say, 68 or so. That's the rough estimate, I would say. And branch moving outward from the lifeline is a little bit negative. It basically means outflow of money or outflow of energy. And moving towards the mount of moon basically signifies moon is a very changeable planet, changing phases on a daily basis. So what happens is that it would increase the desire for lots of changes in our life, and increase of desire for travel may increase at that given moment of time. And sometimes the effect on a body is going to be on the lower portion of the body. This is the stomach area, below the stomach, like below the lungs area, the kidney or the prostate. But I would say that it's not too bad, because I see in the hand of my father also many of these lines, one or two, multiple lines, something like this, pointing towards the mount of moon, and he has got some prostate problems. So that's all okay. So it's I wouldn't say that there's much issue with this line as well, because the quality of these lifeline remains intact even towards the last portion of one's life. Let us look at the left hand. Now the left hand and the right hand does have few difference. The main difference is this particular line. Now this particular line can be interpreted in two different ways, and the thing is that it's not, see, some lines we can state very clearly this is what the meaning is, and some lines we have to ask the persons whose hand we are reading. They would help us understand what this line is likely to be. So I'm giving you two options. The first option is that let us think that this is the line of head. If this is the line of head, this is not a normal kind of a headline, because it's kind of pointing purely towards the Mercury mount, which is considered to be a good sign. Mercury is the planet for skill, calculations, communication, and this is the area for mathematics and engineering and everything. So a headline moving upward is upliftment of the mind. The books of palmistry say something to do with writing skill and author. So upward moving line, either these people upgrade their knowledge, or maybe they have a tendency to write even in the earlier portion of the life. Some people, what they may have is that they may have a line something like this, a headline, and somewhere out here there would be upward curve. That is also called the line of an author. Now let us consider the second option. Let us not consider this to be the heart line. Let us consider this line to be a branch of this is the heart line, a branch of the heart line leaning downwards. A heart line leaning downwards and touching the line of head is considered to be a little bit negative. It basically means emotional disappointment. It's something like this is your physical heart. This is the heart line. So this is your physical heart. Consider this is your physical heart, and a branch that is hanging downwards. There's a big branch that is hanging downwards on your physical heart, and there's a physical weight hanging onto the heart, a big weight. Because this is a big line, it means a big weight. So it is kind of pulling the heart downwards. So it would mean something like tiring the heart. It could mean an emotional disappointment. It could mean some problem or the other that the person can face. So notice I've mentioned one good and the other totally negative. So you have to basically tell me what it is likely to be. Although basically it could be so I mentioned that this particular line could be the headline, or this line could be the heartline. I'm not very certain about it. But this age, the heartline's age starts at this particular point and ends out here. So this portion is in the later portion of life. So that's what I can basically guess. Now, one more thing I need to add out here regarding the lifeline. This is the lifeline. There's an upward line kind of joining the lifeline. I won't repeat what I've already spoken, because I mentioned a branch like thing joining the headline. So this was the line I'm referring to. This is the headline, a branch like thing joining the headline. But in the left hand, it is joining the lifeline. The meaning remains the same. So I wouldn't basically repeat the same thing. It would mean your life getting guided by Jupiter. So that's a good thing, even in the earlier portion of the life. Now consider lifeline nothing but a river. A tributary is joining the main river from the Jupiter mount. So that's a good sign. But a tributary that is exiting from the main lifeline is considered to be a negative sign. And this is happening in the earlier portion. This portion, the person has already, this is the past, before the age of 35 or so. So there could have been few negative aspects that may have played out in the earlier portion. Although, again, I would say that this is the lifeline, and these branches that I've mentioned, this could be a branch that is exiting from the lifeline, or this could be another headline. This could be another headline, and this is the another headline. This is the main headline. So if there are multiple headlines, so it would mean something like multiple thought process going on independently at the same time. Okay, so this makes it a very difficult to understand hand in this particular respect. So if there are multiple headlines, it would make the personality multifaceted, and it would be very difficult to understand, where other people would find it very difficult to understand such kind of people. So this is one thing. Now, as far as the money line goes, this is the main money line. In the initial period of the money line, there's an island. Island on the money line is considered to be negative in the earlier portion. So some losses and all. Then it progresses somewhere around the age of 27 or 28. Then it kind of ends at the age of 35. There's a break. Then it restarts. So break on the line of head is around the age of 35. So when it breaks, the money line breaks, it could mean job loss, work loss, business loss at that given moment of time. The first thing. The second meaning could be the main earning member of the family, their health or wealth goes down, so more responsibility falls onto this particular person's head. The third option sometimes could be the personal life can also get disturbed during that particular portion of your life, and because the personal life gets disturbed, automatically it is also going to affect your professional life as well at that given moment of time around the age of 35 or so. And this is the main money line. There's a branch that is joining in, as we have already spoken in the right hand. So I won't repeat the same thing again out here. One last line that I would speak out here is this particular circular kind of line, and this circular line is known as the via Lescavia line. Now, via Lescavia line is normally said to be addiction to something or the other. Now, addiction can be in any form, and this is the area. Venus is the area for vices, and Moon is the area of your, I wouldn't say mind. In Hindi, we say man, and man is very difficult to describe what it is. It is not the heart. It is not the mind. It is and maybe it is not even the imagination. So it's very difficult to describe that particular word, but so it is kind of capturing the mind, or man. So addiction that is there, and the person wants to get out of that particular addiction, but is not unable to get out of that particular addiction. And it may this is the negative aspect, but and this is also sometimes the line of allergies as well. Could be allergic to something or the other. Some different books of palmistry have described it to be a parallel line to the Mercury line. This is the Mercury line, so this is the parallel line to the Mercury line. So if we consider this to be the parallel line to the Mercury line, again we may say that it is a good sign, because Mercury is the area for skills and calculation and communication. So that's the reason why there could be a few good aspect as well as negative aspect to the same line. Now there appears to be a mole. I'm not very certain if this is a mole or not. Sometimes it may not be a mole. So if there's a mole, it basically increases the quality of the Venus area. Venus is the area for sexuality. This is the area for beauty and grace. And beauty and grace can be in any form. It can be in clothes. It can be in playing some instrument, or it can be in art or music or whatever. I'm not going to keep it to one particular strategy. I basically opened to all kind of possibilities. So so when there's a mole, it basically increases the quality of Venus in your life. So this is the area for your love life also. This is also the area for beauty and grace and affection and the warmth within you. I would end my video out here, and thank you for watching this video. Bye and take care.